If everyone could take their seats, we'll go ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome everyone back for the Board of Supervisor Candidate Forum. We will start by hearing from the two uncontested Board of Supervisor candidates running. In District 1, that is Mr. Mark Dotson, and in District 5, that's Mr. Dennis Morris. Candidates will respond to the following question. As Board of Supervisor candidates running uncontested, you are likely to serve your districts for the next 4 years. Looking ahead, what do you see as the 3 most pressing issues or challenges facing the county? For each, please describe specific actions or policies you would support to address them. Mr. Morris will go first.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for sponsoring this wonderful forum.
Hold on. Mic's off.
Your mic's off. Did you turn it?
Flip the switch.
There's a switch on it.
I get more time that way.
I'm gonna start you over. I will do that for you.
Okay, I appreciate that. I've only got 3 minutes, and for those of you who know me, I talk fast sometimes, but I want you to understand what I'm saying. Number one, I've been very blessed over the years to have served Shenandoah County. And I look at my vote as a vote for the county because a lot of times my vote affects people in other districts. So I get a lot of calls and a lot of comments from other people wanting to give their opinion, which I welcome. I've been blessed with being able to serve with some of the best people God ever put in Shenandoah County. Their heart is in the right place, they worked hard. I can't go on and on because that guy's bigger than I am and I gotta watch him. Now, we have several issues that we need to stay on top of. Number one, we've got to look at educating ourselves on the future of data centers in Shenandoah County. We're in the process of doing that. The good, the bad, and the ugly. We need to look at that. It's a big hot ticket item. We need to look at our resource of water down the line. Water, we take water for granted. We take clean water for granted. We need to look at that. Our nonprofits in the county are hurting. We need to look at the nonprofits. They serve the county more than you'd ever want to know, and they don't get enough credit. Let me dwell on one thing. I've only got like 2 minutes left. One of the big issues that we're going to have to deal with is that we as a board and the school board need to look at expanding our facilities in Shenandoah County. As you know, we have 2 of the largest elementary schools in the state of Virginia. We need to address that issue now. We have a great technical school in Shenandoah County, Triplet Tech, who, in my opinion, is one of the best kept secrets in the county. We need to address the overcrowding issues. Someone asked me, Dennis, what school, what project do you do first? We do both of them first. We got to address these issues, and the reason we can address these at the same time, we have 2 different issues here. Number one, we have a public school that we need to expand, elementary school. The school board will bring us a proposal, and it's their job to bring us a proposal. They know the population centers, they know the future of population centers, and they bring a proposal to us. That is a public project. When we get to technical schools and the expansion of Triplet Tech, I look at it as a public-private partnership. There are people out there waiting to ante up money. There is money already been promised for helping out that student population that wants to go to Triplet Tech. This past year we lost over 100 students could not go to Triplet Tech because of overcrowding. Last year it was just under that amount. It's not fair to those students that want to extend their education at technical school. So we need to work with the school board, and I want to make something very clear. We've got an excellent rapport with our school board members. We do. We work together well. The last time they brought a proposal to us for a school building program was 2003, 2004, when we renovated the 3 high schools. And look what we got. For $33 million, we got a great improvement. So I got to quit. They're going to cutting the salary. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Okay. Our Board of Supervisor candidate in District 1 is Mr. Mark Dotson, and you'll be allowed 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Well, great. Thanks for everybody coming out tonight. Appreciate the forum organizers. The question was about 3 specific issues or challenges. I'm not the incumbent. I've never held this office or any elected office. So rather than focus on listing 3 items, I want to talk a little bit about my approach and kind of what I think is going to be my foundation. So primarily for me, running unopposed for District 1, I'm going to leverage my experiences both in life. I'm a retired Army officer. I'm a cattle farmer. And also, I've been very fortunate to serve on the Planning Commission here in Shenandoah County for about 4 years now. So my primary focus is on what we're going to do. So what we're going to do, we're going to focus on doing the right thing, the right way, and we do it right now. The right thing is focusing on implementing and aligning and attempting to achieve the goals that are outlined in our brand new county comprehensive plan. And so that was just recently published. I had a role in that in the Planning Commission. Mr. Morris was the chair of the board, unanimously approved that. Really foundational document, tremendous amount of details in there. Some of them are achievable, some of them are aspirational, but nonetheless it's a great way to serve as a North Star for challenges or opportunities we have here in the county. Real quick for you folks, I encourage you to go read the comp plan. That's 6 big items. Clearly all the things, some of we already heard about here today, water, land, connected communities, quality education, really high quality services, and then also learning from the past. So that's really the what. How do we make sure that we make decisions that impact the county and how we square that or align that with this comprehensive plan, which is our plan to move forward together for the next 25 years. The key part of the opportunity and us to really achieve those aligns with one of my focus areas, which is continuing to look for ways to manage and operate a very efficient local government, but we need to find ways, in my opinion, to drive diversified and improve revenues. This county's motto is industry with plenty. The comprehensive plan gives us wonderful guidelines on how to maintain our sense of place, balance our rural character. But at the end of the day, we have unused industrial facilities currently that are vacant or underutilized. That land's already been allocated for that use. That creates an opportunity for us to both have jobs as well as to diversify our tax base. And I believe that that's critical for us to achieve the first thing, the what, which are those comp plan goals. And so then really my final pitch is how we're going to do it the right way. And I'm, because of my recent experience here in the Planning Commission, I've had an opportunity to work here in the county, but really even as throughout my whole life, I've both been on teams and I've led teams. And that same kind of ability has given me the ability to work with my teammates here in the county. I'm very pleased that all 6 of the current supervisors, regardless of their affiliations, have all supported me. And so I'm going to focus on making sure that as we have these discussions about these issues, we continue to do that. I'm very open to citizens' input, and we're going to continue to work together in a professional and collegial way so that we can achieve the right steps for the county going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Again, that's District 1, Mr. Mark Dotson, and District 5, Mr. Dennis Morris. At this time, we will continue our forum with District 4 Board of Supervisor candidates, Mr. Kyle Gutshall and Mr. Murdock Snarr. We will begin with opening statements, and Mr. Snarr will go first.
Yep. Good evening. Thanks to our sponsors, the Chamber, the Alliance, Farm Bureau for having us. Thank you all for being here. And a little bit about myself and why I'm here is that I grew up in Shenandoah Valley. I'm a professional engineer, graduated from Virginia Tech after Central High School, self-employed business owner, family of 1.5 healthy children due in February. And I'm here to take on the leadership role, hopefully, to provide a little bit of guidance to help grow and preserve our county and just be an active member to help, one, continue the leadership with the county, but also kind of gain some of that leadership that people like Dennis Morrison, the last 44 years on the board, have helped provide for a guiding light for this county.
Thank you. Mr. Gutshall?
Thank you, Mr. Snarr's comments. A big thank you to our sponsors and for everyone being here to listen to us and give us an opportunity to speak. My name is Kyle Gutshall. I'm born and raised here in Woodstock, graduate of Central High School. After my time at Central, I went to North Fairfax Community College for 2 years, graduated with my associate's degree in business administration. I then moved on to James Madison University, completed my education with a bachelor's degree in management. And during that time, I decided to run for the school board. So I'm currently the vice chairman of the school board. I've been on the board since 2022. That was my first taste of public service, but I've enjoyed my time, representing the people of Woodstock here in Shenandoah County. And, moving forward, I would like the opportunity to continue serving the people of Shenandoah County and Woodstock in a different capacity. A lot of things that I've learned in the school board I think would be beneficial for the Board of Supervisors, including the school budget, which is the biggest and most complex budget that the Board of Supervisors deals with. So great to be here and appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Mr. Snarr drew the first position, so he'll answer first. The first question is, what ideas do you have to attract or grow funding so that landowners are not responsible for the entire tax burden?
Could you repeat the question?
Absolutely. What ideas do you have to attract or grow funding so that landowners are not responsible for the entire tax burden?
I think growing that funding comes from economic development, first and foremost, and that comes in the form of agriculture, it comes in the form of tourism, it comes in the form of production and industry, and those are the type of things that help provide the county budget, the funding that helps. That's what we're up here to balance. So the goal is to encourage that. Reasonable tax rates. We're not looking at, we don't want to just grossly overtax the people to bring in extra dollars, extra fundings. It's a balanced budget. It's something that we need to balance the benefits of today with the growth and the long-term outlook of the county as we see it for decades in the future, because these decisions are largely impactful for a long time.
Thank you. Mr. Gutshall?
Yeah, I think economic development obviously is something that I think a lot of people think of when we want to try to grow our tax base. You look around our county, I think it was mentioned during the prior forum, or the prior candidate's opportunity to speak. We've got buildings around this county sitting empty. They're zoned for industry. They were at one time a factory or a manufacturer or whatever it may be, and now they're sitting there empty. And those are missed opportunities for us. Before we go building new factories and new buildings for industry, I think we need to try to go back to the buildings that worked in the past, try to utilize them, and that could be a good way of trying to help economically with our financial situation, because as everyone knows, we're very heavily relied on by taxes and personal property and real estate taxes here. And if we could get some more revenue streams, I think bringing in some new industry back to this county would be very beneficial. And we have to be extremely aggressive when it comes to that, to try to get people back here and give them reasons to come to Shenandoah County.
Thank you. Mr. Gutshall, the second question asks, what can be done to ensure an adequate supply of safe water in the county, including potential drawdown by proposed data centers?
Yeah, the data centers are something that they're coming. They're on the way here. The thing that we can do is get out in front of it and put rules in place. And water is one of the big things, water and electricity, depending on the type of data center, because there are a couple of different data center configurations. But the big thing is we're going to have stringent rules in place to make sure that what we're dealing with, and we have, the resources to actually be able to perform and have those types of, data centers or whatever it may be that are heavily reliant on water. So, before we get into approving data centers or, moving forward on that, we have to work with our other partners to make sure that we actually do have the water and the supply here, because, we can't afford to be using all of our water and giving it to data centers when our community needs it. And I think that's going to have to be a really big focus moving forward if we do want to go down that road with the data centers.
Thank you, Mr. Snarr.
We currently don't have the full in-depth scope of what data centers can provide. There's a rosy outlook of the financial funding, but money is one piece of a larger picture of things. I'm not head set on selling out to a data center just because of the financial means when we overlook the unknowns that come with it, from the land development, from the water use, from all the other spider web of issues that come from it. It's something that needs to be looked at in greater detail. It's certainly the people that are selling the data centers to us, from what I've spoke with my constituents, it's not an overwhelmingly large voice of the population that wishes they were here. The financial part of it does seem rosy, but the people selling it to us are the people that are building it, not the actual people that are running it after the fact. And so a lot of detail needs to go into this before we make a decision that turns a plot of land, a county, or anything else into a large sink, I guess, for electricity and water to offset helping a potential amount of funding come in from the county.
Thank you. The third question tonight addresses our public schools. When a business's decision to invest in this county often hinges on the quality of our public schools, how do you intend to address the backlog of urgent and necessary repairs while also planning for growth? Mr. Snarr?
Those are certainly big forward questions here that Dennis approached upon a little bit, in that our schools are just about at capacity. We do have some of the largest elementary schools in the county, and fixing and maintaining those is certainly a priority, but it also doesn't create an avenue for the growing population. The last time these schools were built upon, and my numbers might be wrong, but we're in the 50s, 70s, and 90s. A school these days, a new school, I mean, we could look down at Rockingham County, who just built Harrisonburg High. I mean, they're in the $70+ million range. So these are significant implications, but we also don't want to build a school for tomorrow, knowing that it might be another 20 years until the next school comes. So it's balancing the assets that we have now, making sure that they're up to speed, making sure that the budget and the spending is transparent and communicated with the constituents. And those are something that are going to be big pressing issues, not only now, but for the next 10 and 20 years.
Thank you.
Having a good school system in a community is very important. I've learned a lot about that over the last 4 years or so. We have a lot of challenges when it comes to infrastructure, the quality of our buildings, and the space that we have, or the lack thereof, in some of our buildings. As it was mentioned, 2 of our elementary schools are 2 of the largest in the state, and that's caused some major challenges for not only the students, but our staff and community stakeholders as well. I've been serving on the school infrastructure planning committee that was formed a few months ago with 2 members of the school board and 2 members of the board of supervisors, and we've tried to come together and start the process of looking at a long-term 5, 10, 15, 20-year plan to try to get figured out, how do we want to move forward and continue to improve our education in our schools, whether it's expanding triplet tech, building a new triplet tech, whether it's expanding our elementary schools or building new. So there's still a lot of unanswered questions and a lot of work to be done, but I look forward to working towards that. I think it's very important that our education system continues to improve, because it only improves the community as a whole, and I think it's extremely important.
Thank you. Mr. Gutshall, the next question is in relation to affordable housing. The question reads, in the last decade, Shenandoah County has made great strides in addressing the needs of our less fortunate residents. One big improvement has been the Shenandoah bus system. Do you have a plan that will address affordable housing in Shenandoah County?
I think when you look at our population and those that may not be doing as well, financially, we want to look at two categories. Number one, I believe it's the young person that's out of college looking to get their first job or get on their feet and start their career. And then I also look at some of our older population that at this point, we're trying to support them and help them in as many ways possible. And we're seeing more housing coming into the Shenandoah County area. You see it in Woodstock and Strasburg, and that's going to be housing, I believe that will be an option for many people, at least at some point, if they're coming in here for the first time or if they live here. We need to support our residents as much as we can, and obviously the tax situation is something that we really have to consider. For the older population, we have to think about that when we're making decisions to raise the taxes or spend money on a certain project. We need to look out for everybody in this community, not just the little guy or the big guy, but we need to look out for everybody. And housing is something that I think we can continue to improve upon, but there are going to be some opportunities, but we need to continue to watch that and monitor it closely. It needs to be responsible housing and responsible growth for the county.
Thank you. Mr. Snarr, do you have a plan that will address affordable housing in Shenandoah County?
The direct answer is no, I don't. I'm unaware of it. I'm very aware, just as we all are, of the increased housing costs, the increased life costs, and mortgages, interest rates, and everything else. I don't have a plan in place. What I do is I'm taking an active role to seek guidance from some of the longer tenured school board members to discuss potential plans in place. The role of this seat is to make decisions based on the people in the county. Leadership is not just about taking action, but receiving leadership from those in place. And so I leave myself open to receiving that input, to listening to the people of the county, and to making sure that we do have affordable housing that is available for everyone.
Thank you. The next question, Mr. Snarr, you'll go first. It asks, it's in relationship to our agriculture. Even though county real estate and personal property taxes in this county are lower than neighboring counties, how would you address economic development without harming the county's agricultural landscapes and livelihoods?
I'm very thankful to have grown up in this county. I think the Shenandoah Valley is a wonderful natural resource, and part of that is some of the agriculture, it's the nature, it's the outdoor experience that you get from just going 2 minutes outside of these cities. Preservation of agriculture is not just a heartbeat of what makes Shenandoah County, but it's also a big driver of tax revenue. It's not a big expenditure on fire and EMS. It's something that helps shape our county from more than just an idealistic standpoint, but also a financial standpoint. I was fortunate enough to travel to Colorado last 2 weeks to my sister's wedding, and at Dulles Airport, I saw a wonderful photo of Loudoun County and Dulles Airport from 1957. You couldn't tell the difference from Loudoun County in 1957 to Shenandoah County. I mean, it looked like it was just taken off back road. And I know that agriculture land converted to any other means can never be transformed back. So preservation of agriculture can go hand in hand with developed and steady economic growth, industry growth. The utilizing of existing infrastructure is something that is what I'm pushing for.
Thank you. Mr. Gutshall, the question asks, how would you address economic development without harming the county's agricultural landscapes and livelihoods?
Agriculture, obviously a essential part of this community. Built, agriculture and Shenandoah County kind of hand in hand together. And we realize how critical it is, how much of an asset it is. And like I talked about in the open this evening, when it comes to economic development, I think first we need to look at where do we already have buildings zoned for specifically economic development. I think it would be a huge mistake for this county to begin infringing on people's farmland and trying to buy it up or take it over and, start building industry there. I think we have other opportunities around the county that we can use. We can utilize those to the best of our ability and continue to work with our agriculture partners because they've provided a lot for this community. They continue to provide a lot for this community, and I think our support for them is critical moving forward as well.
Thank you. Our final question of the night asks, it's in regards to Rails to Trails. It asks, do you support, Mr. Gutshall, do you support the Rails to Trails project? Why or why not?
I'm pretty open-minded on this. I think there's still a lot of information to be put out. You've got the Rails to Trails, you've got the Rails with Trails. I know there was just another survey put out recently some information put out, I should say, a study by VDOT lately. I think the main thing is we need to look at this is what makes sense economically, logistically, and what the community wants to see. If the community is willing to support something like the Rails and Trails, that's something that I would definitely consider and look into and likely be a supporter of. But if the community thinks that maintaining and keeping the rails in place moving forward, I think that's something that you have to listen to your constituents. And during my time on the school board, and then if I get elected to this position, I think our constituents' feedback is extremely important. We don't get into this position just because we worked harder or we did better here. We get there because the voters put us there. So community decisions like that are very important, and I think it's something to look into. But again, tourism and economically is very important. If we believe it would be beneficial and make money for the county and bring more revenue in, that's definitely something I'd be willing to listen to.
Thank you. Mr. Snarr, do you support the Rails to Trails project? Why or why not?
The goal of this seat is to do the budget keeping, zoning interpretation, and provide stewardship for the county. The Rails to Trails is something that there's currently a lot of economic studies backing everything else going into. The results of those studies aren't out. We're here to remove emotion from financial decisions for the county, for the people. And tourism dollars, tourism is something that we love to promote. Tourism dollars, as I was about to say, are a wonderful dollar and tax revenue for the county. They're not something that use the utilities day in and day out, but provide the food, the sales tax, and Airbnbs, etc. So we're a proponent of tourism. We're a proponent of bringing people and showing them the little slice of heaven that we have, that we get to call home. But it's not at the expense of spending millions and millions of dollars if the economic side of it doesn't support it. So I'm very curious and very interested to see what the data studies are, but I'm hopeful for it, and I think that having that tourism draw to the county is something that would be very beneficial to all of us.
Thank you. We will conclude with 1 minute closing statements. Mr. Gutshall, you'll go first.
Again, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I've learned a lot so far during my time in public office, serving on the school board for almost 4 years now. 3 things I want to highlight real quick I think that are important when you're serving in public office. I think commitment, experience, and results are very important. Public office takes a huge commitment. During my time on the school board, I've attended 89 consecutive meetings since the beginning of 2022.
Mr. Snarr.
Yes, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Politicking is not something I'm overly passionate about. I appreciate you all sitting through, as my public speaking is not as sharp as it can and will be. It will get better. However, I am passionate about our county. I am passionate about our people, and I'm passionate about growing and preserving and balancing that aspect of who and what we are and where we are. I've been involved in projects with VDOT, with the Department of State, and everything else in my short 12 years of being a professional engineer that have led to project and budget developments with over $200, $300 million projects. I'm very well versed in my communication language is more numbers than it is emotions. However, I'm happy to take leadership from the people. I'm happy to listen and be transparent about the decisions that we're making, and I'm happy to be able to provide guidance for the county on these financial decisions. So thank you all for your time.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. At this time, we'll take a short 10-minute break and we'll reconvene with the school board candidates. We'll start back at 7:11.